Okay, this is a video for my Year 12 class. It's Mrs. Smith. The first assignment we asked you to do for C4 was on the binomial expansion, so this is assignment 1. The first question in the paper was to expand x plus 2 over x all to the power of 4 completely and simplifying the terms fully. And that was worth 5 marks in the exam. Okay, so what we need to remember about the binomial expansion is the fact that there's 2 parts in the bracket. First, on our left hand side is the x, and we have the 2 over x on the right hand side. As we go through our expansion with the power of 4, we should either be able to go straight into the Pascal's triangle and pick out the row which has the power of 4, or we're using the NCR option on your calculator to work out the coefficients which are generated in the Pascal's triangle. So power of 4 on the triangle, as a reminder, we have 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Using the NCR button on your calculator, that is the equivalent of, in this case, because of power of 4, 4 choose 0, 4 choose 1, 4 choose 2, 4 choose 3, and 4 choose 4. So on your calculator, as I said, if you want to work out what this coefficient is, you would press 4, find your NCR button and then 1, and when you press equal, you will get the number 4 out. So we're now going to have a look at the question above, and we're going to expand it to the power of 4. So x add 2 over x to the power of 4 is 1 times, and we need to look at the coefficients in turn. So I'm going to look at the one on the left hand side first. So that's x, and I need to raise that to the power of 4. And I need to multiply that by the right hand side term, and I'm taking the whole thing, that's 2 over x, to the power of 0. And we notice that these two powers add up to the power of 4 overall. So that's our first term. Add. Our second term, we need the coefficient of the expansion from the Pascal's triangle, or the NCR, so 4, times x, and this time we've taken 1 off our power, so it's the power of 3, times 2 over x, and that's going up in a power this time, it's a power of 1. And again, our two powers add up together to give me the power of 4. Add our next term, 146 times x squared, is going down by 1, and the 2 over x is going up by 1. And again, our two powers add up to give me the power of 4. Add. So we've got 1464 times x, and we're going down by 1, so it's x to the power of 1. I'm not going to write in the 1. And then 2 over x all cubed. So this would be a power of 1, and this one would be the power of 3, so in total power of 4. And our last term, run out of space, I'm just going to do it underneath. Add 1 times x to the 0, and now multiply that by 2 over x to the power of 4. So again, our powers add up to 4 overall. Okay, we need to tidy this up a little bit, and we need to make sure we are expanding the whole thing in the bracket to the raised power. It's the most common mistake that is made, just to do with the x and not to do anything with the coefficient within that bracket. So we have, tidying it up with the first one, 1 times x to the power of 4 times 1. Add 4 times x cubed, and in the bracket raised to the power of 1, that's times 2 over x. Add 6 times x squared, and the whole part of the bracket needs to be raised to the power of 2, so we need to do 2 squared and x squared, so that's times 4 over x squared. Add, run to this term now, so 4 times x, and again we need to raise the whole bracket to the power of 3, so 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8, over, and we need to cube the bottom as well, x cubed. Add our last term, 1 times 1, times, and we need to raise the whole 2 over x to the power of 4, so 2, 4, 8, 16, and again the whole thing needs to be raised, so we've got x to the power of 4 on the bottom. Okay, you might be able to jump straight into the next line without this line, but I would strongly suggest that you show all your working to get all these coefficients before you do any tidying up. Guarantee these marks and it makes mistakes easier to find. So tidying up and get a final answer mark, we have 1 times 1, which is 1, times the x to the 4. Add 4 times the 2 gives me the 8, and I can do a little bit of cancelling. I've got x cubed on the top divided by x, so that's x squared. Add 6 times 4 is 24, and I've got x squared on the top, x squared on the bottom, so it cancels out completely. Add 4 times 8 is the 32, and I've got an x on the top and an x cubed on the bottom, so that cancels down to give me x squared. Add 16, 1 times 1 times 16, over the x to the 4. So that would be enough to get you your answer mark. Some of you may decide to tidy up that a little bit further and deal with a positive power. So just to show you the equivalent format for the last two terms, we would have 32, and the rule we have with our indices is if we have a fraction or power on the bottom, we can take it to the top, but we need to change our power, the sign of the power. So we have x to the minus 2, add 16x to the minus 4. Notice it's just the x part that moves up. We're not changing the sign in front of the coefficient. So that would be enough to get the 5 marks for the first question.